Lancet published a study claiming that hydroxychloroquine not only didn't work against COVID, but was dangerous. One problem: it was all fake. Real scientists combed through the data and forced the journal to retract it. 3 countries prohibited the use of HCQ for COVID based on this Lancet study: Belgium, France, and Italy. Dr. Fauci himself basically declared the drug a lost cause.
Clearly, the scientific data is really quite evident now about the lack of efficacy for it, and even the possibility that there could be adverse events, particularly with regard to cardiovascular and the arrhythmias that may be associated with it.
And yet a deafening silence from Dr. Fauci today. The silence speaking volumes. There's a lesson here. Science is a process. It's not an outcome. And when politics and confirmation bias take precedent, well, there's a bad result coming. Joining me now is Dr. Ramin Asqui, cardiologist and CEO of Foxhall Cardiology. Also with me is Dr. Stephen Smith, founder of the Smith Center for Infectious Diseases and Urban Health. Dr. Smith, you've treated so many COVID patients and continue to. You say this is a blight on the medical community and one that brings you no joy. Explain.
Yeah, Laura, thank you. How are you tonight?
Good.
It's a rough time. It's a rough time, obviously, in America, but it's a rough time in medical journalism, academic medicine. The mixture of politics and medicine really don't have any role. I mean, they should never mix together. It's a sad day. I mean, I knew I'd been through the Lancet article, and I just critiqued it, assuming the data were correct. I didn't think they were valid, but I assumed that. And I sent in my critique to Lancet. To their credit, they asked me to submit it as a correspondence so that they may publish part or all of it. And it was highly critical of just the analyses of the data. And then a couple of days later, the feces hit the fan. And the data were shown to be fraudulent, or called out to be fraudulent, and later proved to be fraudulent. And in the journal, it published an article not related to hydroxychloroquine, but related to COVID, on a lesser data set from the same group several weeks earlier, and they both have had to retract their paper. And this
my question to you, Dr. Asqui, and I'm going to get back to Dr. Smith. Have people perhaps died because doctors were less willing to give hydroxy in an outpatient basis? We won't know that, I guess, right?
I think we may never know that, but this is medical fraud for political purpose. What these individuals did, and the Lancet and New England Journal of Medicine were party to, as was Dr. Fauci was, they spiked the use of hydroxychloroquine. Physicians are notoriously risk adverse. You stay away from controversy. And this has now become vastly more controversial than it should have been. You don't hear about positive studies that are beautifully done in France, in Spain, in Italy, in South Korea that answer a lot of these questions. You have these poorly done studies, if they are done at all. In the case of the Lancet article, it's clearly just a completely fraudulent database. And you have Dr. Horton and Dr. Rubin, the editors of the Lancet and New England Journal respectively, who are pulling a Rob Rosenstein saying, I didn't know, I never read it, but they published it with verve, and they should consider resigning from their positions. We need to have a wholesale look, because you wonder what else is wrong in these journals if this is what we've discovered in this simple matter.
Dr. Smith, the problem here, I think, is that the media, we're just lay people. You guys are sophisticated medical thinkers. We're lay people. But people hear this like, oh my God, I'll never take this. I'm going to have a heart attack for the first pill I take. So people were afraid, Dr. Smith, and you were coming on this show week after week. I mean, you must have come on the show 15 times. And you explained very methodically when you prescribe it, how you prescribe it, the patient types you're having. And I just fear real damage was done, not only to medical establishment, to people.
I agree. I think people have died because of this, and I don't say that lightly at all. I myself have continued to prescribe it, but I do so extremely carefully because I know the administration's looking over my shoulder. I know it. And they've restricted the drug now to clinical trials only, which is unethical, but that's what they've done. And it's a very, very chilling environment to practice medicine in. And it's weird that where science doesn't rule the day, where this hype does. We know hydroxychloroquine is safe. The studies are unbelievably strong in that regard. And people have suggested, well, they weren't on COVID patients. Come on. We have our own data showing it's safe. We still measure EKGs on patients every day when we use this regimen. We do that not because we think we need it, because if, God forbid, anything happened to this patient, they're going to blame us.
Oh, of course they are. Dr. Osprey, my question here is, where are the mea culpas from Dr. Fauci, from all these medical journalists, from all of these media types who gleefully proclaimed this drug is dead. It's not going to be the go-to drug. It's out of hospital protocols. I've not heard from any of them. Zero.
Well, that one abiding characteristic of all politicians is they can never admit they're wrong. And this tells me that Dr. Fauci and others who never admit they make a mistake are more politician than physician. You'll never see this. They'll move on. They'll never be caught out for what they've done and the real damage they've done to the trust that practicing physicians like myself have for these so-called academic experts.
We got to go. All right, gentlemen, thank you both for being here tonight. And when we come back, the media's stunning hypocrisy on social distancing.
Daily routines change, but the land stays the same. There's ground to cover and a herd to feed. So run with us on a John Deere Gator, because being linked to the land means the work never stops. Nothing runs like a deer.
Somewhere along the way, Western boots got too expensive. And the styles? Well, Tecovas fixed that. We make handcrafted, high-quality Western boots for a fair price. Find your pair at Tecovas.com.
My hair loss was a reminder of my age. I started